So my dude's Valkyrja, and today we have from user NumberLogBS on r/gotcha gaming the Sensor Tower monthly revenue report for August 2023. Now, what's shocking about this, you can probably tell where this is going to go from the title of the video, but if I go over here, bring up the image, make it nice and big, you can see that starrail has actually managed to surpass Genshin. It was like that like last month. You can see July, it was over top Genshin, but starrail is still fairly new. But you can see starrail has grown by approximately $8 million from July to August, while Genshin has stagnated at $32 million. Meanwhile, FGO obviously has overtaken everybody. But we're focusing on starrail versus Genshin here, because starrail was #1 last month, and now it's #2 this month. And it's basically grown, or it's consecutively more successful than Genshin at this point. Now, as to what metrics they actually use to basically make this chart, I don't know what they're using to make it, so I'm gonna throw that out there right away. But I do know that this is Sensor Tower, something I've seen pop up quite a bit, so I'm going to assume that they're fairly accurate in these numbers essentially. So, there's a couple things that I think could be a big factor of this. One, the absolute biggest factor, I believe, is starrail is simply just new. It's just a new shiny toy, so people are spending a lot of money on it to actually get very strong characters. And that brings me into the second point, and that starrail kind of incentivizes you to spend a little bit more than Genshin would, because every character that comes out in starrail is very, very, very broken. They're all very strong. They feel like upgrades. They all feel very powerful, and they just feel really good to use. Whereas Genshin really not normally, like it's sometimes, but normally the characters aren't like super uber broken. A lot of times they're actually kind of just okay at best, right? Like they're not really cracked, but they're mostly just okay. For a lot of times in Genshin, you're more so pulling for the character rather than a kit. Whereas starrail, it's a little mixture of both. Like a lot of times you're pulling mostly just for the kit, because Giga Dan, for example, can hit funny numbers. Like it's really that simple. And then it also comes down to, I think starrail is like drawing in a much more hardcore audience, an audience that's much like really invested in the game itself and their characters. So that could be a reason why there's more spenders in starrail than there is Genshin. But it's also the fact, like, once again, I said starrail is a much more newer game, whereas Genshin's like 2 years old, so most people in Genshin already have built up accounts. They don't really need new characters. They can kind of beat everything with what they got. I do know that there's a new mechanic in Fontaine, I believe I've heard about, that you do need new Fontaine characters to deal with, so maybe that's how they're going to incentivize spending inside Genshin. But as it is right now, I mostly am making this video because I haven't been paying attention to anything other than Genshin Labs charts, which shows that starrail banners like haven't been performing as well as like historical Genshin banners. Like I'm waiting for the point where a starrail banner absolutely surpasses Genshin. For example, banners. If you look right now, our best-selling banner at the 8-day mark. I'm using 8 days. It's weird, but I'm using 8 days so we can include Giga Dan in the conversation. You can see here he's #3. But Sealer made $24 million in 8 days. Silverwolf made $19.8 million, and then Giga Dan made $17 million. Whereas in Genshin, the best-selling one of all time is Hu Tao and Yelan at $29 million in 8 days. Nahida and Yoimiya at $27.3 million. Raiden Shotgun at 25, etc., etc. Like Giga Dan actually falls in line as to right above Hu Tao's first rerun. Or no, right there below Hu Tao's first rerun, actually. And then Sela is somewhere around Raiden Shogun. So you can see what I mean by this, that I'm just genuinely surprised that our starrail is overall more profitable than Genshin right now. So it's just a little surprising to me, given the historical banners. But I think, like I said, once again, I think it's a combination of things, and the fact that Genshin characters, newer Genshin characters, tend to be lackluster in terms of performance, and that is something that contributes towards sales. Like how good a character is contributes heavily towards sales. Whereas in starrail, every single character is broken so far. Every single 5-star that comes out is very, very strong. They haven't missed the ball yet. They're all really, really good. And starrail is also the newer toy. Now, I'm really curious to see how this holds up with Fontaine dropping, and then you're going to have the Hydro Archon soon. So if the Hydro Archon doesn't make it so Genshin passes starrail, then I think starrail finally passes Genshin permanently, but I really don't know because, like I said, I'm just shocked that starrail passed Genshin altogether. I did not think that turn-based was really that big. I did not think people liked turn-based that much. I thought that starrail was a lot more niche than Genshin, at least that's how it feels on the YouTube side of things. But it turns out, if this chart is correct, that financially speaking, starrail is outperforming Genshin. Anyways, that's all I want to make the video on today. I just thought it was really interesting. It was definitely something I was not expecting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you guys expect starrail to ever surpass Genshin? I certainly didn't. And like I said, if this chart is correct, then that's really, really cool. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.